Like, it's hard for a mom and the dad to be like, yo, we gotta split up knowing that y'all got a kid. It's not easy. So usually it's ugly.
So do you think that parents should make it work for the kids?
Yeah. I mean, so you're gonna have a lot of people that be like, well, I regret, I was with this person for 20 years and I missed out 20 years of my life, but your child is all right. Like, your child is gonna be in a better position financially than, well, not all the time, but on average, than if it just had a single parent household. I do believe that wholeheartedly. Like, sometimes, like, and you never know, like, people could lose jobs, people go through hard times and financially for whatever reason, and if you have somebody there to kind of at least help alleviate some of the struggle for your kids, that's dope. Like, when a parent is struggling, your kids feel it. And when your kid feels you struggling, and I'm speaking about you being by yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like, they take that stress on too. And you don't notice the damage that you're doing to your child with your own struggle. So, in my personal opinion, you should try to make it work, as long as it's not with the extremes, like where y'all two together are more detrimental than, the struggle of being single. I do think that they should be together for the kid, because a lot of times, and I really believe this, but I don't know how true this is, I don't know if it's a stat or anything, but I really believe that parents fighting to stay together because the children's are involved probably have...
The children's.
My bad. Because the children...
rock, but then they're going to say,
the children are involved. My bad. The children... I think that...
And don't cut this out, Alan.
Let's chop this out.
Already trying to save them.
So, but I do think that, and again, I don't know if there's any stat on this, I do think that parents sticking together because there's a child or children involved, most likely, I feel like kids have saved a lot of relationships, and because people change. So I could be going through this moment where I'm changing as a person, as an adult, my perspectives, my everything, my habits, and maybe in the next moment or the next season, you're going through that moment and you're, changing, and whoever you are. And I might not like who you are right now, but in 5 years from now, we're making it work for the kid. Now I like who you've now become, or maybe now you like who I've now became. And I think that that's dope when you see parents stick together for the children, because at the end of the day, your children is really what y'all wanted. Right?
Can I ask you a question? Are you saying just two people who are together and not married staying together for the kids, or a married couple staying together for the kids?
I would say it doesn't even matter. I would say both, right? In my opinion, I would say both, because I feel as if a divorce is even more traumatizing for kids than just a split without the marriage. Because like when kids go through the whole divorce with you. You know what I'm saying? Versus a separation is usually like a separation. It's not as impactful because money wasn't really involved, and money is not having to be spent for y'all to separate. So I think that, you should stick together for the kids, man. I think it's important.
This says, being raised in a married family reduced a child's probability of living in poverty by about 82%.
Poverty?
Yeah, below the poverty line, which is what?
Yeah, what's the poverty line?
It's like 27,000. Yeah, 12,000. It's under the 20.
I live on $12,000.
I'm like, I don't know.
I'm trying to tell you, y'all talking about $2,000 a month on the kids. Wow.
No, that was a question. They can live on $12,000.
No.
I don't know how much our groceries be costing, but $1,900 seems about right.
It is.
For groceries, $500 a week.
It's gonna read a general.
But you got to remember, there was kids that, like, I went to school where there was also a lot of struggling people. You know what I'm saying? So I seen the other side of the spectrum where there was kids don't have anything because they only have a single parent, and their other parent is either not there or barely even paying child support, if paying child support, right? So then you see, a lot of these kids that I went to school with, if I try to say how many of them made something decent out of their lives, I would say only maybe 30%. 30% of the kids.
You think that's due to only having a one-parent household?
I think it's due with that and the entirety of it, the struggle that came from it, the resentment that you've gained towards your parent who is either absent or mistreating you, the environment, but that's what the environment is filled with. You know what I'm saying?
So the environment creates your exposure, and I think that's what the connection is. So, a lot of times you can't do or be something that you've never done, that you've never seen, that, I remember when I was in, I think, 6th grade, and one of my classmates, his dad is the CEO of Texas Children's Hospital in Houston. Literally, he's still the CEO today. And that's and I don't even know how I found this out. Maybe his dad told me, him or whatever, about being a thoracic surgeon. I had never even heard of it. But now it's embedded in my mind that, if I think about medicine, maybe I'll do this,
Mm-hmm.
So exposure, and like you said, your environment, it creates what you're exposed to. And I can certainly see the connection and how that makes the impact.
But think about it. What is the environment? The environment.
I mean, not great.
But the environment is a bunch of the same people. So it's like, okay, let's say this is my environment, but my environment is all made up of single parent homes. Majority of these homes are single parent. Majority of these homes have an absent parent that is non-existent at all. Majority of these homes in this entire environment is the same exact situation, or very, very similar. So I see that all the time, and that's the flip side is like, parents stay together because, they can't afford the rent. But realistically, if you stay together and you find a way to work within some type of, cordial, I guess, like energy with each other, you teach your children that even though you don't like something, you find a way to make it work. You're showing problem-solving skills with your child on a day-to-day basis. Now, again, there are different extremes that I would not recommend it. But if it's just like, hey, look, you have a preference and I have a preference and our preferences just are clashing because now our egos are involved and our pride is involved, find a way to take that out and demonstrate what it's like to actually go through situations and then separate when the kid is, maybe in college.
Can I ask you a question? What do you think, because you're saying you figure out a way in that relationship to move forward somehow, whatever y'all agree on, right?
In the same house? I'm sorry to cut you.
Yeah,
in the same house?
Right.
You're saying in the same house?
Yeah, together.
Okay. All right.
So I remember growing up.
It depends though, I remember
growing
for
up,
everybody.
and I remember I've literally my entire life never seen my dad's parents share a bedroom.
Yeah.
My grandfather had like a room and like an ensuite or whatever downstairs, and then upstairs was my grandma's room. And in my mind, I kind of thought it was normal until I was exposed to not my other grandparents who did share a bed, but like other people. You know what I'm saying? Just like outside of my bubble, and TV. Oh yeah. But I think that it does affect how you approach relationships with people, because you might grow up thinking that's normal to be in an unhappy relationship, to be mistreated, to be with somebody that's nagging you all the time, like just to be so unhappy. And I think the problem with being that so unhappy is that it feeds into everything. You so mad and you so frustrated, you just start yelling at your kid, and all they did was just like spill some juice on the kitchen floor that they can easily just clean up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think because a lot of us don't have that level of like control and discipline and like emotional stability, then it's probably kind of hard for those people to stay in that household.
I really was sitting down and I was thinking, and I'm like, yo, our entire, at least here in America, right? Our entire just ideology stems from relationships.
What you mean?
No one is committed in relationships, so no one is committed to working. No one is able to persevere in relationships, so whenever they face adversity in their life, they just abandon the task and they go on to something else. And I think that we are not taught to push through anything. We're always taught there's something else, there's something that could work for us, there's a better solution out there. And I think oftentimes nothing is better until you actually learn how to make whatever you have work. And you can spend your entire life trying to look for what's right and end up lost. And when you end up lost, then it's like, okay, cool, well, what do you have to show? It's just going to be nothing but pain and hurt. And now when you have a kid involved, I really believe that when kids watch you, let's say your kid watch you get upset with the father, and then, or the kid watch you get upset with the mother, and then y'all just say, all right, I don't have to deal with this. I'm done. Now that kid grows up to become an adult. They have somebody who's really good for them, but they're going through a rough patch in their relationship. The first thing that they're going to say is, I don't have to deal with this. I'm good. Let's say they get into a point in time where they're in school. Let's say they're in college, right? They've watched their mom or their dad just leave and abandon whenever times got hard. You know, your sophomore, junior years, typically your hardest, years of college. I don't got to deal with this adversity. I'm going to just go get a job. They leave. Then, it's just something that's a domino effect that becomes a behavior for them all the time. So when you have the ability to show your kids from, the ground level, from a child, hey, listen, you're not going to like every situation, but that doesn't mean quit on it. Until you really, really, really see that it doesn't serve you, that's when you can start to move on. And I feel like we are just so easily able to just say deuces, that now our children have grown up and said deuces to everything.
Opposite of what Rico was saying before, staying together for the children because you don't want to quit and showing them the right way. But say you guys do split up and you actually parent your child and you tell them that I didn't stick around for these reasons. And it doesn't even have to get nasty about the exact reasons, and you still tell your child not to quit. That's another option too.
That is.
That's a good point.
Staying together for the child because you don't want him to give up, and kids are gonna have adversity. It's life.
You know what I think though? Like when you split up and there's a child involved, whether or not you intend to, it's almost like a subconscious thing for the kid that they're gonna have to pick a side. They're gonna feel, I should say, and they're gonna start to pick a side. And I think that when it
decided the one you like.
But that's the problem, because like when you're the other parent on the other side, you start
the parent.
Yeah,
I was
but
about to say, in that time, I feel like it's good for your parenting at that time to be like, I know this is what you feel, but you don't have to feel this way. There's no sides. We still love you equally. There's no like.
It's not true. That's like that bullshit that the boomers do.
Why is that? But why would that be boomers bullshit?
Like, I love all my kids equally. There's always a favorite.
No, because now you instead of having one household where the child is maybe they're unhappy or whatever the case may be, and you guys together, you guys are all, as parents, you're preaching that like that one linear way of parenting, as opposed to if you guys do split up and you're still being a good parent, you're telling them don't give up and all the good things and all the parental things. You're now getting another side because this person isn't the same person when you guys live together and when your parents live together. Your parents are also different. So now you're getting the side of your father that may have been subliminal because maybe the mother was just overbearing or whatever the case may be. But now you see your father's blooming outside of the relationship. He's grown, he's strong, he's different. And same goes for the mother too.
You know what, I hate, because maybe it's just something that I seen a lot, is that I hate watching parents compete with each other through the kid. Like a parent, like one parent finds out that, the other parent bought some sneakers, so that parent wants to go and buy them boots. You know what I'm saying? And then when they
Kid, I was about to say,
the kid.
Those are the kids that love divorce, right?
Yeah, but like I think that like when they're competing through the kid, they're only just competing to have the kid love one more than the other, because when push comes to shove, they want the kid to be on their side. And it's like you're trying to like either like buy their loyalty with gestures or buy their loyalty with gifts. And I think that that's not real parenting, and kids end up becoming like I guess, unappreciative of things, right? Because it became normal for them. So they can't value certain things. So it's like, and they become entitled, you know, and rotten and spoiled. And those are the ones that I feel like, you know, I've watched become people and have terrible outcomes in their lives because they expect.
Maybe that depends on their age or how much they know. Because I could imagine like a younger kid maybe, but maybe say if you're like a good age, maybe like 13, teenage years. Like sometimes you can see through that. Like you can see, oh, my dad is doing this because my mom did that. And now my mom's retaliating and she's doing that. Like they know the game that their parents are playing.
But they're like, we're going to benefit. So I'm going to keep on.
Exactly. But they know that they're benefiting. So sometimes they might just, you know, play along even though they know what's happening. But I don't really think that for all kids, that means that they're going to grow up being unappreciative.
Well, I mean, like, I just think that it ends up not just unappreciative, but it often ends up in with a negative outcome. I don't think that it really prepares him to be better. I think it prepares him to just be manipulative. So like just try to manipulate the person to get whatever they can get. And it's like, okay, I know if I put you in a position to compete, right, with this girl, because this girl and all my other girls did this, now you feel like you're competing with my past, or you're competing with my current. And it seems like it's normal for me, but it's really not.
It probably is more so an effect or a consequence, rather, of the parents not parenting versus, because the thing, you can give your kid everything in the world and you also parent them and because you want them to be like productive members of society or whatever. I think that all the gifts or whatever that you give, I don't think that is going to negatively impact how they move as a person, because you're still instilling in them like what's right and what's wrong, you know, what not to do and what to do in life.
Yeah, but sometimes parenting, like I've seen kids get love bombed by their parent, and that's not parenting. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe they just love their kid.
Nah. Like
nobody loves their kid.
Nah.
I'm trying to think.
Like
love bombing kids.
You could love bomb your child, and I think a lot of parents love bomb their child to make them to trick their child that they love them more than the separated parent. And
they're both separated.
Well, no, I mean like the other parent, like you know,
no longer lives in the house.
That no longer lives with them, or you know, whatever. Let's say parent A, parent B. Yeah, so parent A will love bomb their child, and maybe they don't buy gifts, but they demonstrate all this affection and all this love, and they just shower them with nothing but love. Maybe because for other reasons why they don't buy gifts, right? But that's what they do. That's their method. I want to make you feel so loved by me that person can't amount to the love that I give you. And I think that, again, it becomes a manipulative tactic that these kids pick up when they become adults.
Or what if they're just so grateful for their child after the divorce that they just need someone to, put their love into? Rico's always just like,
no, I'm
so glad I lost my husband, but I'm so glad I still got my child.
Because I feel like it'd be like my bad. Like there's like, for example, let's say the parent that doesn't deal with the kid on a day-to-day basis, right? They have the kid, let's say, Monday through Friday, and then the kid goes to the other parent Saturday and Sunday, right? The parent that only has them Saturday and Sunday love bombs their child because they don't have them that often.
Or they miss them.
Or they miss them, right? Well, exactly. But now the problem that happens is it's not realistic because the person now that really has them from Monday through Friday is dealing with a lot of their bullshit too.
They do it the real life of
the kid.
And a side chick.
Exactly.